Hi, here we are. This is going to be the first segment of a three-phase fuel pump motor test. We have a donated fuel pump here. I've taken this apart a little bit. This is out of a Porsche Macan, a GTS Macan. So it's a three-phase pump. We can see our wires there. Interesting that they do not code the wires going actually into the pump itself as the same wires that are going into the connector on the outside. And speaking of the outside, why do we have this pump? I don't think there's anything really wrong with this pump. We're going to do some tests on it, but the main reason was that the top of the pump here was leaking. It was leaking gas, okay? And the owner or whoever was working on the car decided to try some epoxy to seal off the gas leak. Nice job, huh? This is kind of like if you can't tie a good knot, tie lots of them. But anyway, our diffuse spreading of the epoxy trying to seal the gas leak still didn't work. No surprise there. So we're going to start this test. This is the first of two tests, and this is being done with a Pico MT 03A. It's kind of an expensive tester for a three-phase, but then again, we don't have a lot of options when it comes to really and truly testing three-phase motors. And I can just hear the flat rate guys screaming to high heaven about the expense and usefulness of these tests, but nevertheless. So we're all plugged in, we're all hooked up to the three phases. We're going to come over here. This is what the Pico screen looks like. And we're going to start the test. You can see nothing right there. We're going to start the space bar, and we're running right now. So there it goes. We'll start to get some values here in a little bit, I reckon. It's running on the blue phase right now. So there's 192.21 milliamps, 190 milliamps, and waiting for the third phase to come in right now, and 191.1. So yeah, this is a really balanced pump, and you can see the three greens right down there. So Pico is telling me that this pump is, resistance-wise, this pump is good to go. Okay, so now we're going to go on to the next phase, which is going to be actually running a pump through a controller, and we're going to put the oscilloscope on it and see what's going on with it. All right. All right, now for some oscilloscope fun. So we got the scope hooked up. We have the battery powering our fuel pump in the back, and we're running a Joe's Garage three-phase tester here. Okay, and right now the scope is on, and we are going to start off at 50 volts a channel, because when we were running 20 volts DC per channel, we were running into overrange. So we'll run the 50 volts, and we're going to start at this 2 millisecond division. Okay, the amp clamp is not hooked up yet. We'll do that here in just a second. So here we go. We're going to start running. There we go. And there's our three channels running, relatively low RPM. You can see them going by, and I can stop it here. And we're going to speed it up, speed it up. There we are, speeding up. RPMs, look at the RPMs increase. We're going to back it back down. We're slowing back down, slowing back down. There you go. This is what the good, we're slowing down, slowing down. I don't know how many RPM we're doing right now, but we're slowing down just to get a good picture on the scope. And we're going to slow down, slow down. There we go. We're kind of coming down to, this is lower and lower RPM. And we're going to just hold on while I try to steady the camera here. We are going to, if I can find There's my curve. See if I can decrease. There we go. We're decreasing. I put a trigger on this to slow this down. So we're now at 1 millisecond a division. And we're going to speed it up again. Here we go. Speeding up. Speeding up. I tried to slow this down, but anyway, this is our pump running. If I speed it way up, look what happens. Ooh, there we go, way up high, okay. And slow down again. Now the interesting thing with this is if we put the amp clamp on, it only shows up, the amp clamp is this line down here, and it only shows up if we clamp one at a time. There's an amp clamp running on channel 1. There is going to be the amp clamp running on channel 2. And if we run the amp clamp on all 3, it goes to 0. How about that? Anyway, that's what we're looking at there using the tester here. We'll roll the tester back off. We're not supposed to run this too long. We'll just take it back down. There we go. We could even run this a little bit. We can even run this a little bit slower. Or is that we go down here now? See, we're going down to 500 microseconds a division, and you can watch that. So this is sort of what it looks like when we're running the Joe's Garage 3-phase tester right here. And there we're down to nothing. Bring it back up again a little bit. There we go. Kind of running along there a little bit. Looks like things are jumping around just a little bit. We'll bring up the speed here. There we go. And like I said, because this thing is, and we'll bring that back up to some, there we go. Bring it up a little faster. That's, you can kind of see the divisions there in the 3-phase running right there. Okay.